Hello everyone, today we are updating our tutorial on OneNote for Mac. This is the 2016 edition, and so if you are not familiar with it already, basically OneNote is a very popular piece of software for helping organize your notes. If you're looking for our class on OneNote for iPad or Windows, we will put links to both of those in the description of the video as they become available. As of the date that we're shooting this, we have already released the OneNote for iPad class. The one for Windows is coming out in a few weeks. I have a trip that I've got to take, so when I get back, I'll be producing that one. So that being said, OneNote for Mac coming up next on TechTalkAmerica.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to the class. Today we are of course going over Microsoft OneNote. What I would like to first do is just kind of go over what we're going to be covering today, and then we'll dive right in. We're going to start off with going over where you go to get this software. At that point I'm going to talk about hierarchy, how the different files and folders are structured. We're going to talk about a little extension that I would strongly recommend that you put into your web browser that works very, very well with this software. Then we're going to go on to preferences and talk about the really only preference that I would suggest you consider modifying. We're going to talk about how OneNote stores your data and where to go to get it. And then we're going to talk about creating different notebooks, sections, all the different things you need to create. And then we're going to talk about the ribbons. The ribbon is the part that most Mac users would probably more likely refer to as a toolbar, but technically in Microsoft's language, they like calling it a ribbon. We're going to talk about password protecting, how to search documents, collaborating, moving things around, deleting, all sorts of good stuff. Let's get started here. Where do you go to get OneNote? You're going to go to OneNote.com. Very, very simple. Click download the app. It'll go into your downloads folder and basically walk you through the rest. Now, you are going to need a Microsoft.com account in order to access all of this information. And basically, you're creating an account that has access to more than just OneNote. It's the whole suite of Office software out there, which would include things like Microsoft OneDrive, but you'd also theoretically be able to, use Word Online, Excel Online, PowerPoint Online, etc. So Microsoft's going to this cloud platform. This is part of it. So once you've got it done, you've got it installed, this is what it's going to look a little bit like. So let's talk about hierarchy. At the highest level of hierarchy, we have notebooks. Now, these could be different things for you based on what you do. It could be that you're a business person and each one of these is a client. And then within each of that, you'd have, individual notes for different projects. You can create the structure that you want, but essentially we have 4 levels of hierarchy, arguably 3, okay? So at the highest level, we have notebooks. And to create a notebook is really, really simple. All you do is click over here and you'll see there's a little plus symbol, something very familiar to you Mac users. Click on that, you're gonna create a new notebook. You can choose what color it's gonna be. So let's just do teal, and maybe here I'm going to just put happy stories as an example and hit create. Okay. Now on the next level, below notebooks, we have sections, and I always accidentally call sections tabs because that's what they are. This is a section. If you want another section, you hit the plus symbol here. That's a section. Hit another one. You got a third one. You'll notice here that they are different colors. In a little bit, I'll show you how to change them if you care to do so. Now within each section, and forgive me, I'm going to actually go to another one that I've already created for all of you. So here, this one's called recipes. You can see that I have one section called breakfast, one for lunch, one for dinner, one for desserts. If I wanted to create another one for appetizers, I could hit the plus symbol and go ahead and type away. Under each section, you have pages. Okay, so we're going down a level. Each of these items over here on the right-hand side, each one of these is a page. Now, there is technically one level underneath this. Not everyone uses it. You'll see here I've actually created one for you here in dinners. So here we have a sub page. Now if you want to create a sub page, really all you actually have to do, you can secondary click on it, okay? And it's right here, new sub page below, okay? Or the other option is just create a page and then you can make it a sub page. So doesn't matter the order here. And anytime you want to create a new page, if you look here at towards the top right, this plus button is for creating a new page. So it's just a blank canvas. So that is the different levels of hierarchy. We have notebooks, sections, pages, and then finally sub-pages if you decide to actually use them. At this point, what I would like to do is I want to give you a tool that I think is really, really useful in using OneNote. Granted, all of you are probably using this for different reasons, okay? But this is overall, for most people, a really good tool to put on your computer that works very, very well with this. That tool is the OneNote Web Clipper. It should be noted, I believe this at this point in time only works with Google Chrome. I get asked this question all the time. What's my favorite web browser? What am I using these days? At this point, yeah, Chrome is still, in my opinion, the best. There's definitely some disadvantages to Chrome, especially when you're on something like a tablet, but on a computer, I am a fan. So if you decide you want to get this, this is basically going to add a little feature to your web browser, and you can do it by just clicking here on Get OneNote Web Clipper. Okay, very, very simple. By the way, you'll notice that I have another extension running here in the background. I do not actually recommend that. It's necessary for me to use it for teaching this class because of some of the websites that I will end up going to, and I just don't want, I can't have any pop-ups showing up on my screen. So once you have the Web Clipper installed, let me give you an example of how you might use this, okay? So let's go to a website I've opened here. For those of you who live in the United States, I want to give a plug to these guys. And I don't have any relationship with them other than I use them and I am a total fan. If you live in the US, check out Blue Apron. It is an awesome, awesome service. I used to be terrified of cooking, and these guys they're amazing. They ship you fresh local ingredients and recipes that are really, really easy to follow, and you can just create some amazing, amazing meals, and it's like $10 per person per meal. It's crazy cheap. Anyways, if you want to check out this website, again, I am personally a fan. I don't have a corporate relationship with them at this time, but if you're interested, shoot me an email. It's my initials, DAC, at techtalkamerica.com, and I'll try to get you an invite. Sometimes you can get like a free meal or something like that. Anyways, one of the things I love about these guys, they have great recipes, okay? And just great tips in general. So let me go into, let's see here. Ooh, I just got this one delivered to my door literally like minutes before I started recording this class. So let's say I want to save this recipe into my recipes notebook in OneNote, okay? This is where the Web Clipper is a great tool. Now, if I scroll through this page, you will see here that we have more than just text here. And like, for example, this is part of a graphic, okay? So just simply storing text from this page is not going to work well. That is where the Web Clipper is great because there are different ways to save information. We're going to click on it right now here at the top right. Here we go. We have full page. So you're basically extracting the entire website and saving it into OneNote. You'll notice it is a little bit on the sluggish side. It's just because it's loading a lot of data. The next one here is region. So region is great when you just need a little screenshot, but you don't need necessarily the whole thing. So for example, if I want to just capture this top part here, I can just click and drag with my cursor. You can see how my cursor turns into that little crosshair icon. Let go, and voila, it has extracted only that image. The other thing that is actually kind of nice is if you look up here, it will give you the web URL so that you can also go back at some point in time if you need to get back to that same place. You'll have more than just the image. Next one here, this is kind of cool. This will either say recipe or article depending on what website you're on. In this case, Web Clipper immediately detects that this is a recipe. So I just click this, it's text only, and it's extracted all of that information, okay? Won't have all the photos, but it's very, very small in file size and just very, very easy. And then we have bookmark. This is the simplest, so it just gives you kind of a little 1 or 2 sentence description about whatever page it is that you're on, the title, and of course the web URL. Very simple. And then from here, when you've decided which of these to go with, you can then go here to location. And if you look here, all of that hierarchy that I created is right here. So here under recipes, I can save it directly into dinner, hit clip, and voila, it will be there shortly. One little tip and trick I wanted to throw out there for all of you. This is really the only handy hotkey that I think that you should probably be aware of. Is if you are in the middle of kind of going back and forth between the Web Clipper and OneNote, as I'm doing right now, you may need to refresh everything so that it syncs up. There are two different ways to do this. One is to just sync the notebook that you are currently actively in, and the other is to sync all of your notebooks. It's very, very simple. The hotkey to sync one notebook, just the one that you're in right now, is the same as save. It's Command S. The other hotkey that you should probably be aware of is to sync all notebooks, which is Command Shift S. So I'll go through and just sync everything. As you can see here now, everything that I had saved earlier is now here. Is that the one that I just got? Yes. So that's how you do that. Next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to go over really the only preference that I think you might want to consider knowing and just altering. It's very, very simple. So as with every app on the Mac, the preferences are right here. You click on the name of the app when you're in it, go here into Preferences, and the only thing that I would suggest you consider possibly changing is here under Edit and View. The default for the zoom level is only 100%. Some people find this to be a little too small. So especially for those of you who are doing this on smaller laptops, you might want to consider going up to 110 or 125, which is what I actually do on my real account. Also here, you can change the default font. Okay, by default, it's 11. I like going with 14, just easier for me to read. And then all of your system fonts would be here, so you can choose from all of those. That's the only preference I think you probably need to worry about. I want to talk about how OneNote is storing all of this data and where you can go to make alterations to it. I try to be very, very open and honest with all of you, and when there's something that I don't like about an application, I call it out because I know that company is probably watching right now. Hi, Microsoft. How are you? There's one thing that really, really just I don't get this part of OneNote, and it's one of these things where I had held off mentioning it before. And then it just became this, like, why is it so difficult to delete? Sounds weird, right? To delete a section, very easy. To delete a page, very easy. If you ever want to delete a notebook, it's weird. It's weirdly complicated. I mean, you would think you could just simply like right-click, secondary click, and hit delete. Yeah, that doesn't exist here. So if it's important to me that you all know this key part. To really alter any of the data, as far as deleting it, you have to go to the web version. So conveniently over here, I have right here, Microsoft OneDrive. Now the direct link to get here is onedrive.live.com, okay? And so from here, you would normally sign in and you'll see all of your same notebooks here. So for example, if I want to delete this notebook called Evidence, there's nothing in it, it's fake, okay? You have to click on it, go up here to delete, and that's the only way to do it. Very, very strange feature. Microsoft, why do you make it so difficult to delete data? I just don't get it. So that's my little request. How are you doing? Next thing I just want to do is I want to talk about, well, what if you need to get to this data and you don't have your computer? Well, this is the whole purpose of this. You can go on any computer to onedrive.live.com, sign in, and you can not only access, but you can also modify. They have a full web version available of OneNote called OneNote Online. Very, very simple. So if I go here, you'll notice that I have access to pretty much all the same tools. It looks just a little bit different, but for the most part, it's basically all still here. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you all are aware of that. So you can go to the web to make any changes as far as deleting, but also you can go here to access your data. Let's go back here to OneNote. Let's talk about creating a new notebook. Okay, just click here on the notebook and hit the little plus button. Once you're in a notebook, if you want to create a new section, it's this plus button. When you're in a section and you want to create a new page, it's this button. Just look for the plus symbol. That's always how you add a new so-and-so. That's the way you remember it. Just think of the plus symbol as add. There you go. The next thing I want to talk about is renaming. So this part gets, once again, a little bit weird. So if you want to rename a section, for example, it's very simple. You just secondary click on any of these tabs, and the first option is rename. So if I don't want to say breakfast, but maybe I just want to make it plural, I can do that. If you want to rename a page, okay, it's as easy as changing the name up here at the very top. So if I just change this to egg sandwich, make it a little bit more simple. There we go. You can see that over here on the right-hand side, it's altered the name of that page. What about notebooks? Do you sense where I'm going with this? Yep, if you go here and you try to secondary click, nope, nope, nope. The only way to rename a section, or to rather rename a notebook, is once again through the website, where we have right up here, rename, and I can change it to smart people questions. Maybe I'll put that in quotation marks. Save. Oops, sorry, no characters allowed. No! All right, smart people questions. There we go. And now when I go over here and I synchronize everything, you'll see it will magically change to smart people questions. There you go, just like that. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, I'm going to go back here to recipes, okay? I want to talk about this up here at the top. So this is referred to as the ribbon. A lot of you who are Mac users are going to more think of this as a toolbar. So all the basic functions here, I don't think I need to go over. We have, of course, copy, paste, format, all that stuff here. We have our formatting options for the font, the size, bold, italic, underline, underscore, or strike through rather, and subscript, highlighting options, text color. All your bullet and number options are here up at the top. You'll see here we do have different types of bullet points that we can do. Same here for numbers. Okay, so you have all those different options there. Indent, okay, all of these, and decrease the indent position. And then we have these right here. So these right here are tags, okay? So if let me just create a new page that I can just kind of play with here. So if I want to put in, maybe I'm putting in some info of a restaurant, okay, and I want to put their number. I might want to mark this as a phone number. And the way to do that would be a tag. So if you look up here, we have all of these options here. You can mark it as a to-do list item, remember it for later, contact, important, all these different things here, right? Oh, well, here's phone number. So you click on it, and it adds that little icon to it. Where this is very odd is, unfortunately, those are not searchable, which makes me ask you, Microsoft, the question, why the heck do you even have it if it's not searchable? It just seems odd. If it were me doing this is me giving you free advice, Microsoft, I would, here under the search icon, I would put tags so that people could search for a very specific type of tag, like show me all phone numbers. You notice even if I say phone, okay, it's not gonna pull up anything. See, it's totally different, not that. So that's that. You do have access to other tags here as well. There you go. Questions, definitions. But I'm saying, Microsoft, if they're not searchable, what's the damn point? Thank you. Okay, next thing for me to rant on. Next, we're going to go over to the Insert tab, where we can insert things like tables. You can choose how big you want your table to be and then type away. Pictures, PDFs, and printouts. This is kind of nice. You can really add any kind of file into your different documents here. So you can attach whether it's a video file or audio, whatever you want. A direct hyperlink so that if you're doing like a presentation, you could fire it up and go there. Equation, I don't know anyone who uses that. Date and time. This is a good one for business folks. I was working with a woman a while back who's looking to integrate OneNote with her business, and she would go through and each page was multiple days of content. So what I told her to do is I said, you might want to consider when you start typing, if you're going to be on the same page, just click on this button and you can add the date and time. So you kind of have an idea of, well, what text is in this section, this was done on this date, and go so on and so forth. Arrows and shapes, you can see you have those all here. So if you want to kind of point something out, you can click on this and move it around however you want. You'll notice that when you create something like that, you can change, for example, the thickness of the line, change the color to whatever you want. Okay, so I can make it orange. Okay, all that information right there. Go back here to insert. Audio recording. Very handy for kids in school, I tend to think. So if you want to, instead of recording what your homework is, you can just kind of talk into your phone or tablet or computer and just verbalize it. So when you click on this, it's going to start recording. Oh, Yep, it's recording my audio right now. Stop. And now if I want to play it back, I can just click on it and hit the little play button. It's going to start recording. Sorry, I kept playing back. And then you can see here we have an option to rewind backwards 15 seconds, forwards 15 seconds. There you go. Okay, let's delete that out. Next thing we're going to talk about here is the draw tool. Now, I just want to say flat out, this doesn't work great on the Mac. It works really great on tablets and phones, whatever you may have. It does not work so well on your computer just because your trackpad is only so big and, it doesn't work well. So if you have something like an iPad or a Galaxy tablet, something like that, this feature is great. Not so much on the Mac part. Although, that being said, for marking up items, like over here, so for example, if I want to just kind of use a marker and just, say, hey, check this out, it's very good for doing that kind of thing. One thing I've never got about Microsoft's commercials, why is it that every single one of their commercials just seems to hammer home this point of, oh my God, you can draw on text, as if this is 1989 and they've just blown our minds. I don't get that, Microsoft. Who's doing your ads these days? Okay, back to topic. Another feature here that is very handy are these two here. These are the very first two items, text mode and lasso select. I just like to point this out because if you're going back and forth between drawing and text, you need to switch back to text. But if you ever need to do something, if you need to move around a bunch of things, and they're not necessarily all text, it could be some shapes, some text, some images, whatever, this is where you can go to do it. Go to lasso select. You can see I'm just kind of drawing around everything, and now I can move all of it at once. Very simple. So just know the lasso select tool, very, very handy, is here under draw. And then we have view. So view, you can change things like the paper color. Currently I have it set to no color. For people who like to have lines to help them with this, we have paper options. Now, one thing you may have noticed already about OneNote, and I was going to mention it anyway, is that it's not truly linear, which is in this case a good thing. So it means that you don't have to type on the line. You can type anywhere. It's completely open-ended. But for people who like to kind of organize their thoughts, this can be a very good idea, and it just adds those lines, which just kind of makes it kind of a handy guide. But you'll notice that I can, let's go back to text mode. I can just click over here and just start typing really anywhere. There's no uniformity. Uniformity, is that a word? We'll pretend it is. Okay. Zoom in or out. Now, if you're on a Mac laptop, you can also just kind of pinch your fingers together or apart, provided you have that option set up in System Preferences. But you can also here use zoom in, zoom out, and it'll just kind of change the zoom level. Next part here is password protection. Now, this part, once again, I find very, very odd, because you can password protect a section. Okay, you can password protect, of course, all the pages within a section, but you can't password protect a notebook, which I find very, very odd. And I've tried; you cannot do it from the web end here either. Okay, if I were to go in here and select a notebook, you'll see there's no option for to password protect, at least not at this time, unless there's something that I'm missing, which is always possible, but I have not found that to be the case. So if you want to password protect a section, maybe it's a part of your company that has all passwords, which is a horrible idea, you can go here to password section, protect, and you're going to create the password for whatever that may be. Okay, so that in order to get into it, you're going to have to type in that password. Hide authors. This is something you're only going to really need to know about if you are collaborating with other people. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. And then we have deleted notes. So if you need to get into your history, you can get it all right here. Next thing I want to talk about is how to collaborate with people. And I also want to kind of clarify something that I said earlier. So I mentioned that you cannot password protect a notebook, which I find very, very strange. I think that how Microsoft views this is they view it as, well, if you're going to password protect a notebook, then just don't share it with anyone, which I get except, well, what if your computer's on and open so that no one needs a password to open OneNote? Then that means they can get into your stuff on your computer. So you can password protect sections. You cannot password protect notebooks. I don't know. I find it odd, but I'm not them. So if you want to collaborate with someone, okay, on a notebook, I just want to make it clear that you can not allow them to have access to everything in the notebook just by simply adding a password. I just feel Microsoft should make it so that you could password protect anything. Okay, let's move on. So if you want to collaborate with people, you're going to go to this little plus human icon here at the top right corner. So from here you can see we can invite people to work on this notebook. You can also copy and create a link that they can go to and they can open it up from there. You'll also see we have an option here to send a page, and this basically will just send it as a message or a PDF. Okay, it'll just convert it. So if we want to allow people to collaborate, we're going to click here and we're going to type in either their names or their email addresses. Their names is going to work only if they're registered. It's just easier to do their email address. You can put in a little quick note. Also notice, for those of you, especially in business, you can alter whether or not they can edit the text. Just watch for that option there. And that way you can collaborate with them. And if there are certain sections that you don't want them to, you can just go to that section, hit password protection. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit. And you can protect you can protect a specific section, just like that. The next part that I wanted to touch on is searching tools. So of course, up here at the top right, you can search for any text that appears in any note that you have here. And by default, it's set to search all notebooks, but you can also tell it to just search within this section group, this notebook, or all notebooks. But the other part is that you should know this software has built-in OCR. And if you have no idea what that means, OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition, and it means that it can detect text within images. So, for example, one of the things that I know some people use this software for is they'll use it on their phones and they'll snap a photo of all of their receipts. What's kind of cool about this is the fact that it has OCR means you can search and pull up that text that is located on top of an image. It's part of an image. So for example, this right here, okay, this is not actual text. This is an image that I took of text. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for the word queso, and hopefully it's going to pop up. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to type in QUESO, and you'll see it found a few of them, and one of them is right here. I found it. There we go. There we go. So just showing you that it can search any text that you have here. What happens if you're going through this process and you need to move stuff around, okay? Well, if you want to move around the different sections, it's really easy. It's actually just drag and drop. So I can just literally move these anywhere I want. If you want to move around a notebook, okay, so if I want recipes at the very top, I can drag it up top and set that right there. The other way that you can also do this, I just want to mention, is up here in the menu bar. We have notebooks here. You'll find that you can create a lot of these things here as well. So if you need to, for example, go in and you need to move a section, and this is specifically, if you need to move a section to a different notebook, this is the way to do it. So you're going to go here to Notebooks, Sections, Move Section to, and you can change and put it wherever you want. So it'll move out of that notebook and into a different notebook. The next little trick I just want to show you has to do with a very common problem a lot of people have, which is if you're copying and pasting text from different websites, you're going to get this kind of hodgepodge of different fonts going on. So this is the horrible example that I just threw together where I've got 3 different texts, all different, right? If you want to just immediately make everything look the same, here's how you do it. You're going to do Command A on your keyboard, which is select all. So it's going to just go through everything, select everything. Then go here through the Edit menu, and you'll notice this right here, clear all formatting, and now everything looks the same. Very, very simple. Next thing I want to mention, folks, just really quickly, is I want to give a shout out to another app that I tend to think that works very, very well with this application. The name of the app, I've got it right here. It's called Alfred 3, and it's an app that basically gives you access to a lot of different features, but the key feature that I love about the software is it gives you access to the clipboard history. So for those of you who are going to be copying and pasting a lot from the web into here, you can go through and you can see everything that you have copied. So if you want to check that out, I'll give a link in the description of the video too. We actually have a whole class all about Alfred, but I tend to think it's a very, very good app that plays very well with what you've got going on here.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the class. I really hope you enjoyed it. This has been traditionally one of our most popular classes. If you don't mind hitting that little like button, if you happen to be watching us on YouTube, we definitely appreciate that. Also, if you don't mind taking 2 seconds to support us, this does not cost you anything. If you head over to our website at techtalkamerica.com/support, for any of you out there who shop on Amazon, there's a really, really easy way that you can support us whenever you make purchases online. It doesn't cost you anything. So check out our website for details. That's it, everyone. Class dismissed.